Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. So January ended up being a better month than I anticipated, at least in terms of some catalog title pickups or just older releases that I grabbed brand new off of Amazon, Big Lots. I don't even know. I guess that pretty much covers it. Also in this video, I'm going to go over my final Best Buy movie purchases that I'll probably ever make because, of course, they've taken all of their physical media out of their stores. So let's do this, guys. 20 titles to talk about today. So let's not waste any time at all. Let's dive right into my January Blu-ray, 4K, and DVD haul. So I totally forgot about this. I was just looking over there, but I bought this little Loungefly pin. I don't even know, like a month or two ago. I was buying my wife's birthday gift, which is coming up here, and I needed to add a little bit more to the cart in order to spend more of the box lunch bucks, whatever they're called. And so I ended up adding this on there because it was like $7 or $8. And it is a Star Wars pin. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, but it's a Star Wars pin in like a VHS style. So I figured, you know what? Since I forgot about it, let's open this up and see which pin I get, because of course these are blind boxes, as they like to do. So let me get this opened up here. There we are. All right, so I don't have any idea. Which one am I hoping it's gonna be? I think it would be really cool to have Darth Vader, obviously. So that's the one I'm gonna hope for. There's all of them on the back. I don't know if that's gonna focus. There you go. That's all of them on the back there, so we'll see. I think they look really cool, which was the reason I wanted to grab these, but let's see which one is inside. This, of course, like all of my wrestling pins, will go on to my jean jacket. That's where I have all my pins. Ooh, okay, this is cool. Not Darth Vader, but we get R2-D2. That gonna focus? There you go. That is awesome. I really think these are cool, especially as someone who has been picking up Star Wars on VHS. I love this. So very cool. Definitely happy I was able to get this for like $7 or $8, whatever it was. So that is going to go on the jean jacket along with all of my other pins. So I thought I would just share the experience of opening this with you guys in this video. Alright, so let's get into the reason that you guys are actually here. So first up, I did receive a DVD from Mill Creek to share with you guys, and this one came separately from all of the other new release Mill Creek releases in January, and there wasn't enough to do a full video on it, so I figured I would just share it here. But Far Haven is another January Mill Creek release. This one is set in 1887. It looks like a Western, obviously, by the cover there. And that's pretty much what I know about this one. So nothing I'm terribly excited about, but I do request all of their upcoming releases just to share with you guys in case it is something that you're interested in. And to note, there is a special feature on this one. There's an inside look, so I'm sure that's a behind the scenes making of. But yeah, so could be interesting. It's directed by Gary Wheeler. So yeah, that one came out in January as well. So that is the only Mill Creek release I have to show you from January that wasn't already in one of my previous videos. And then the only other DVD I grabbed is one from Big Lots. And this thing just looks so cool. I'm going to open it with you guys here in just a minute, but I grabbed the limited edition of Wanted from Big Lots for $9.99. So first off, I love this movie. I think it is such a cool action flick, so much fun. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I loved it when I first watched it. You can see all the contents on the back there. You can see the plastic is a little messed up, but that didn't bother me at all. So I'm going to open this up so I can share with you guys what the inside actually looks like, because I'm just excited to see myself. So let me get the plastic off of this. Alright, so the plastic is off. So it's in this glass case. It's plastic, but it looks like it's in this clear case, I guess I should say. So let's take the box itself out. Oh, you can see it's got the bullet hole on there, which is pretty darn cool. Oh, it actually is like textured, so it feels like a bullet hole. That's kind of cool. Alright, so there is our J card. I will set that off to the side. And then the book here. So let's open this up. Oh, very cool. It's got the bullet in the middle there. That's awesome. It's acting as the holder for the DVD. All right, so there's one disc. There is a second disc. Let me be careful with these. They're not Blu-rays. They do scratch pretty easy. Is it going to come off? There we go. Okay, so that's the bonus disc. So lots of special features. And there is that. That's really cool. I wish it was, you know, a little bit more centered, but hey, it is what it is. All right, there has to be a bunch of other stuff down here. Yeah, okay. So that one, that comes out. There's the front and the back of that. It does come with a digital copy, which I'm sure is probably expired. I'm just curious what the date, yeah, 12/31/09. So clearly that's expired, but... And then we have postcards here. I guess I'm not going to waste your time by opening these up, but postcards. And then this is really cool because this is like a hologram. What is, I always forget the term, lenticular. I guess it's a hologram, whatever it is, you know what it is, but that's pretty awesome. And this is pretty beefy as well. So that could stand up on its own, which is really cool. So yeah, pretty cool release for $10. I mean, why not? For a movie I really enjoy, I thought this was a pretty cool ad for the collection. I will load it back up in a second here. But that is what the last of the DVDs I grabbed from Big Lots. But now let's jump over to the Blu-rays, and I grabbed a few from Big Lots on Blu-ray as well. I should mention, as much as I like Wanted, I only own the Blu-ray. I know there's a 4K release, but frankly, it hasn't come down to a price that I found reasonable yet, so I have not yet upgraded. But I have the DVD and the Blu-ray, and eventually I will upgrade to that 4K release, and I'll probably end up just getting rid of the Blu-ray at that point, but I will hold on to that special edition one, at least for now, because I think it's just pretty darn cool. So anyway, a couple other things I grabbed, or a few other things I grabbed from Big Lots. I picked up Vehicle 19 with Paul Walker. This was like $3.99, I think. And somebody in my comments, maybe even years ago at this point, but talked about this movie and said it was actually pretty good. And it sounds interesting. Paul Walker is recently released from prison, and he ends up getting in a car. It's like I forget exactly what's happening. He discovers a gun, a cell phone, and an unconscious woman in the trunk of a rental car. And then things kind of escalate from there. Paul Walker's great. So I figured, you know what? For $4, might as well give it a shot. So I grabbed Vehicle 19. Another one from Big Lots is a movie that I think looks really interesting. I just listened to a podcast about Tupac recently, and so I'm just intrigued to learn more about him, but I found All Eyes on Me, which is the Tupac Shakur story. So yeah, intrigued to check it out. It looks like this was over in Canada at one point, but yeah, don't know too much about the movie other than it, of course, is just a biopic of Tupac. So looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully it'll be an enjoyable one. Let me know if you guys have seen this one. Hopefully I'll like it. We have All Eyes on Me. And then last but not least, from Big Lots, I did upgrade my DVD copy of Oculus. And so this is one that I picked up on DVD from the Dollar Tree. I watched it originally streaming, and I really enjoyed it. Mike Flanagan directs this one, and honestly, I don't love the other things I've seen from Mike Flanagan, but I really enjoyed Oculus. Not one of the greatest horror movies, probably a 3.5 out of 5. Like, it's a good movie. And so I figured, you know what? I'd rather have that one on Blu-ray than DVD. So for, how much was it? $3.99. I figured it was worth the upgrade. So I definitely recommend this one. It is creepy and it's done really well. So I enjoy it. This one is Oculus. The next few here are completely random Amazon pickups. They just happen to be super cheap, and so I ended up grabbing them. Like this one here is a Wes Anderson film that I didn't have in my collection, and it was down to about $3.99 on Amazon, which is nuts. But I grabbed The French Dispatch. Now, I've only seen one Wes Anderson film, and I'm totally good. It's the Grand Budapest Hotel. That's the one. I was about to forget what it was. And it was awesome. I loved it. His use of color and just his framing, I think, is phenomenal. And so I'm really excited to check out more of his work. And I think this one has Bill Murray in it as well. Yeah, Frances McDormand is in this, Bill Murray, Adrian Brody, Owen Wilson, Benicio del Toro. So a lot of people that are in, you know, multiple movies from Wes Anderson. And so really looking forward to checking this one out. Hopefully I'll enjoy this one as much as Grand Budapest Hotel, which honestly, I have the standard Blu-ray of that. I need to just upgrade the Criterion release because I love that movie. But anyway, this one here was super cheap. Might still be if you check Amazon. I don't know for sure, but French Dispatch is now in the collection. This next one is totally random as well. Again, relatively cheap on Amazon and a complete impulse buy. But I grabbed Blast from the Past with Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone. Now, this is a movie that I don't know if I've seen from start to finish, but I have seen most of it, if not all of it, in the past, and I remember really liking it. This is a weird one because Brendan Fraser's character is born and raised in a bomb shelter. And then, like 35 years later, he decides to leave the bomb shelter and kind of, visit the real world. And so Sissy Spacek is in this as well. So great cast. Really excited I was able to grab this one on Blu-ray. Excited to revisit this. This is one I'll probably watch in the coming days here because my wife expressed some interest in checking it out too. So excited to check this out again. We have Blast from the Past. I need to give myself a challenge one day to do a pickups video or a haul video where I don't say the word excited in it at all. It's impossible.
So excited! So excited!
But anyway, this other one here, this next one, another random pickup from Amazon. Not cheap, I will admit. This one was more expensive than I really would have liked, but I've been waiting for this thing to drop in price for the longest time, and it isn't. It is, from what I understand, it's an MOD, so manufactured on demand Blu-ray disc. But I love this movie, and I only ever owned it on VHS. We have Kirsten Dunst and Michelle Williams in Dick. Of course, a reference to Richard Nixon. This is kind of like an alternate reality story of how Richard Nixon got found out, essentially, how Watergate went down. And it is absolutely hilarious. I love this movie. This was one that I watched in high school for the first time. Me and my buddy loved it. We quoted it a lot growing up. And I think he ended up taking my VHS and I never got it back, which is totally fine. But I love this movie. I needed it on Blu-ray. And this is one, I want to say it was somewhere around 22 to 26. I can't remember exactly. And it wasn't dropping in price. So I figured, you know what? Just do it. I could have bought the DVD for a lot cheaper on eBay, but I wanted this on Blu-ray because I don't want to have to upgrade it again down the line. I don't see a movie like this getting a 4K release, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I love this one. Cannot wait to revisit it. This one is Dick. If anyone can tell me how Dick became the standard nickname for Richard, I would love that, because my grandfather's name, who actually passed away before I was born, but his name was Richard and he was always called Dick. Like, how did that become the nickname? Anyway, that means nothing. Let's move on to the next one here. Finally, an actual new release in this video. I did grab Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. I talked about this in my anticipated releases video, so you knew it was coming. But I loved this when I saw it in theaters. I went with my buddy and we had a great time. It was exactly what I was hoping it would be. Bloody and brutal and just fun. Eli Roth is awesome, and this holds up exactly how I wanted it to. So very happy I was able to add this to the collection. We have Thanksgiving. These next two I am so thrilled to add to the collection. Now, one is Blu-ray and then we'll transition over to the 4K titles, but both of these are from Second Sight, which if you caught one of my recent videos, I did have another purchase come in from Second Sight, a new release just the other day. So check out that unboxing. I don't know, it'll be somewhere in the cards or something. But anyway, this is one that I thought I was never going to get because I thought it was sold out and just gone. And now I believe there was like a special edition release of this, and that I did miss out on. So I do have the standard release, but either way, I'm happy to have Lake Mungo on Blu-ray. This was one that was part of, if I'm not mistaken, like the After Dark Horror Fest years and years ago. I watched it back in, had to be like 2009, 2010, when I was watching through a lot of those releases. And it's a found footage film, and I love it. It is creepy as hell. It is such a really well done found footage film. Another great example that I always give when I talk about found footage films that I love, Lake Mungo is right up there. It's an indie film done right. And the fact that it was being released on Blu-ray back when it was released, I just wasn't spending the money on releases like this, but this is the exact type of thing I want to add to the collection this year. So very happy I was able to get my hands on Lake Mungo. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I bought this one and the next one just right off of Amazon. So not terribly priced. Again, a little bit more expensive, maybe around the same price as something like Dick, but I'm so happy to have this. Such a good movie. Cannot wait to revisit this. If you guys have seen this one, let me know what you think of it. But Lake Mungo from Second Sight is now in the collection. Alright, so transitioning over to the 4K titles, first up is another Second Sight release. And these two are actually my first two Second Sight titles in my collection. Even though I showed the third purchase first, these are actually the first two. But I finally did the upgrade for It Follows. Now, this was one I owned on Blu-ray, of course. I ended up selling that one. It just sold on eBay the other day. But this was one, I watched it once and I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as some people did. That said, I really wanted to revisit it, and this ended up on so many people's best of the year releases, or best releases of the year list at the end of last year, that I gave into the hype and I picked it up. Again, a really good price for this one, all things considered. There is a big special edition, but as someone who didn't fall in love with this the first time, I figured this would probably suffice for me. So tons of special features. The only things I'm missing out on are like physical bonus goodies, basically. And that's fine in this instance. So yeah, looking forward to watching this one. Heard so many awesome things about it in terms of this release. So happy to check out this 4K transfer. This is another really strong horror film, It Follows. You know what? Just looking at my list, these next two are actually kind of similar to It Follows, where I added it to my want list or my wish list thanks to watching a bunch of best releases of 2023 on 4K videos at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. And so because of that, I grabbed Prey on 4K. This was a movie I watched at the beginning of last year, and I thought it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I really wanted to grab it on 4K when it released, but the price was just a little bit more than I wanted to pay for it. So this one finally went on sale. I want to say it was somewhere around $20, which was significantly cheaper. I think it was $30 when it released. And so I held off, and I'm glad I did. But this often ends up on best of the year release, best releases of the year list. That is so hard for me to say today. But it ends up on best of lists because of the audio track on this. Apparently the Dolby Atmos is just phenomenal. I did end up getting a new Atmos soundbar, which again, I understand Dolby Atmos soundbars are not like the real thing, but we all do what we can afford, and we all do what we have space for and the setup for. So that's what I'm doing. I've loved what I've heard in the past, and so really excited to see how the Atmos track is on this one. And I just lost my challenge to stop saying excited for the rest of the video. But anyway, Prey is in the collection. I am so thrilled to revisit it. See, synonyms. I can use synonyms. The other one I grabbed thanks to those best of lists was Gran Turismo. Now, this was one I talked about. It was on my most anticipated releases of the month list, whenever the heck it was that this came out. But again, there were so many other things coming out, and this was a little bit pricier, so I held off. And I think this one was down to like $16.99 at Best Buy. So that's the reason I ended up grabbing it. Really good price on it, and I've heard awesome things. Now, I like the Gran Turismo games. I played them growing up, and so because of that, I wanted to check out the movie itself, and I've heard that it's actually a pretty darn good film. So one of the more underrated ones of the year is what I've been hearing about it. So yeah, we will check it out and see if it's any good or not. This one is Gran Turismo. This next one will be familiar to those who checked out my Kino Lorber haul recently, but I wanted to include it in this video because it's one of the few new releases I grabbed from last month. But Kindergarten Cop arrived from Kino the other day, and so like I said, I did a full video on the other items I grabbed from Kino, but had to put this one in here again just because it is a new release. The other two were older titles, so check that out if you're interested in what those were. But yeah, so excited to see how this transfer looks. I've heard that the Blu-ray transfer isn't the best, and I only owned it on DVD prior, so happy to upgrade to the 4K release. So happy that Kino was able to have it at a good price, so I was able to add it to that transaction and get me free shipping, which is always a good thing. So next up today is Kino Lorber release of Kindergarten Cop. Okay, so there are 6 titles left today, and all of these are from Best Buy. I grabbed 5 of them, well, maybe 4 or 5 in like one stop, and then the final one is at the very end. That is officially my last purchase, but we'll get to that at the end. What's really cool is that a lot of these are Steelbooks. This first one, however, is not. I grabbed All Quiet on the Western Front. This is the Netflix film that hit physical media. Now, there is a Digibook release of this, which is supposed to be great, but at the time I grabbed it, they only had the standard release, and I've been wanting this one, but again, it was a little pricier, so I held off. Another one I grabbed thanks to best of lists, but cannot wait to see this one. I've heard amazing things about the movie itself and about the 4K disc, and so happy I was able to finally grab this one at a good price. All Quiet on the Western Front. So everything else here on out is a Steelbook because Best Buy was doing some crazy good deals on their Steelbooks. It was so weird because I went there about 3 weeks ago and they had all these awesome deals on Steelbooks and their other releases like All Quiet. But then I went there days before they were going to purge everything out. All of their movies were leaving. And there was one thing on sale that looked interesting. Everything else just was at their regular price. So I don't know why they had the sales, earlier in the month of January and then got rid of them right when they were getting ready to get rid of things. That just made no sense to me. I was hoping they were going to do like a big blowout, but that wasn't the case at all. Anyway, rambling aside, I did finally pick up The Little Mermaid. And this is the live action version. And the Steelbook looks really nice. Now, I've not seen this one, but my wife and daughter have, and they really enjoyed it. So, of course, I'm going to add it to my collection when it's so cheap. I want to say, I can't remember the price on all of these, but it was between 15 and 20. And so that was, the right time to pull the trigger. So, yeah, Little Mermaid is finally in the collection. I really need to check this one out now. The only Equalizer movie I didn't have on 4K was the latest one. This was marked down to about 15-ish or so, so of course I had to grab it. And it's a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook, which I was keeping my eyes open for, just because once it's gone from Best Buy, obviously we're not really going to have access to it other than buying it, through eBay secondhand. So yeah, had to grab it. I'm hoping I'll enjoy it. Not seen any of the movies yet. I actually started a vlog like a month ago, and that was one of the movies in it, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. That vlog has been dead on arrival since then. But yeah, looking forward to checking these out once I get around to the first two. But we have Equalizer 3. Here is another Best Buy exclusive Steelbook that was down to $10. Now, there were actually two of these released at the same time. I much prefer the other one, but this was the only one they had in stock at my Best Buy. So I picked up this one. It still looks fine. I just needed the movie regardless, and it was only $10, so I'm not going to complain too much. But we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I absolutely loved the first Black Panther, but I've not seen this one yet. Of course, it's going to be different because our titular character, unfortunately, is no longer in the movie, at least as I understand it. So yeah, we'll see how this one is. Again, this is such a weird release because this J card doesn't sit on there for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, there are two of these, and this is the one I ended up with because it's the one they had. But for $10, absolutely worth the price. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Here's another sequel for a movie that I haven't seen the original yet, but I couldn't pass up the price on this one. This was, again, around $15, $16, but I grabbed Avatar: The Way of Water. So I do have just the standard slipcover version of the original film. I bought that one used at Media Reload. I showed that recently here. And so that one it only has HDR10 color grading. This newer release Steelbook of the sequel and the original, this has Dolby Vision color grading. So I would have loved to have grabbed the original as well on Steelbook, but I didn't want to double dip, and it wasn't as cheap, so I only grabbed the sequel. So my original will have HDR10 color grading, and the sequel will have Dolby Vision. I'll bet you money I won't even notice the difference. If I'm being honest, it's probably going to look great either way. But yeah, 3 hours of bonus features on this thing, which is really cool. So yeah, happy to add this sequel to the collection, Avatar: The Way of Water. All right, we are at the end here. The very last physical media purchase. Well, I should say movie purchase because they are still carrying video games. But I mean, frankly, how often do I go into Best Buy to buy a video game? Pretty rare. I'm typically buying them used at, Disc Replay or GameStop or whatever. But either way, this is the last movie that I will probably ever purchase at Best Buy, which is really sad. I wish it was something kind of more interesting, but it's all I could find that was a good price. This is a Steelbook that was marked down to $9.99, and I had a $5 reward coupon, so I spent $5 on this. We have Catwoman Hunted. Now, I don't know too terribly much about it, but it is a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook, and it's a DC animated film, so chances are it's probably going to be pretty darn decent for what it is. But again, what's special about this, really, is just the fact that this is probably going to be the last movie I ever pick up from Best Buy, because when I bought this one, I heard the employees talking, saying that February 4th was the day that all of the movies were being, quote, sent back. Whatever that means. I don't really know what that means, but they're going to be leaving the store. And as of recording, that was about 4 or 5 days ago. So there are no more movies at my local Best Buy. So Catwoman Hunted is the last purchase of a movie I will ever make at Best Buy. All right, so that is my January haul of all of the new items I grabbed. So again, both new releases and just items I purchased brand new. So I did buy plenty of used items from Disc Replay and probably various other places throughout last month. So you'll see those in videos as the weeks go on here. But I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments. What do you think of this pile? What did you grab? What was your, or what is your final movie purchase from Best Buy? Let me know that down in the comments, and leave anything down there. I don't really care what you talk about. Leave me anything down in the comments. I really appreciate that. And if you guys enjoyed this one, go and hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. But with that said, guys, that is going to do it. So thank you so much for checking this one out. Before you go, I do want to encourage you all to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.